What's up? Taking the week off for Thanksgiving. I did want to jump on here real quick though and talk briefly about Kelsea Ballerini's latest album. I have been a huge Kelsea Ballerini fan for the better part of 4 or 5 years. I think Subject to Change is one of the best country albums, probably a top 10 country albums for me of all time, certainly within the last 10 years. I really thought that Subject to Change should have won more awards than it did, and I was pretty miffed to see that she didn't tour Subject to Change as much as I was hoping that she would have. Follow that with Rolling Up the Welcome Mat, which was nominated for Album of the Year for a Grammy. And again, I think she was snubbed a little bit on that one, although it's rare these days to see a country artist win Grammy Album of the Year. And then we come to the album that was released last week, Patterns. I hate criticizing artists for their art because, to be quite honest, art is subjective. But I expect so much more out of Kelsea's work because she is such a gifted and talented songwriter. And more importantly, she has an insanely good ear for writing hooks. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you right now. For me, a major part of consuming musical art is the fact that my ear absolutely loves to hear an artist write an amazing hook and something to grab your attention immediately. And normally I can listen through an album one time or two and identify the hooks and whether or not I feel like that album has hit the mark or missed the mark. Rolling Up the Welcome Mat was a very, very different album, but it was full of just fantastic melodies and musical hooks, especially the tunes. Very, very melodic, catchy tunes. Couple that with the fact that Kelsea was going through the divorce and the breakup and the heartbreak that we all understood and watched in real time happening. That album was amazing. Certainly a departure from the pop that she had written with Subject to Change. Rolling Up the Welcome Mat, still a very, very well done album, and I had it on repeat for weeks. I heard 2 songs on Patterns album that I thought had that hooky potential. Track number 3, Baggage, which I personally think should have been track number 1 on the album, and then the song Wait. Looking at the credits on the album, I see that Alyssa Vanderheim helped co-produce this album and has produced many of her previous albums, including Rolling Up the Welcome Mat and Subject to Change. I did notice that a lot of the songwriters are different on this album than on Subject to Change, and so I suspect that some of the collaboration with some of those writers were the reason that Subject to Change had such pop influences and such catchy tunes. In a way, it's certainly unfair that I'm even making a video like this because, as I mentioned before, art is subjective. These songs are deeply personal to Kelsea, no doubt. The songs that I write and release are personal to me, and I'm sure there's people who think that the songs that I write are complete crap. She is such an incredible songwriter and gifted and talented musician, and I was looking forward to hearing what her next chapter in life is. It is unfair, I think, for us as fans to be critical of albums and how an artist progresses, and I think that's ultimately the crux of this video that I wanted to make. While I am disappointed, artists tend to grow, and as they grow, their styles end up changing. I'm a pop guy, so I certainly loved Subject to Change, and I was hoping that this album would be more of that style. I can see that it is not, and so we'll have to wait and see how Kelsea's artistic abilities progress and grow in the years to come. Having said all of that, I'll make another video on it. I do think Post Malone's F1 Trillion should be Album of the Year. incredible, probably one of the best albums I've heard in my entire life. Literally every song is catchy on that one.